Hello and welcome back to Kerb. So today is going to be a big day. I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I've got to assemble a head, which I've never done before. It should be a bit of fun. I've got some other parts that have come in the mail, which is really useful. And basically, yeah, I'm just going to try and get as much as I possibly can done, so that way the engine is finished and ready to go back in the car. I've been really missing driving the Bug, so keen to get it all together once again. So first things first, I've got to patch a hole. So here I am just sitting down and sanding away all of the fish oil that I applied in the last video because it doesn't harden, which is great. So I'm going to put some black paint over this and also fix the hole that I mentioned just before. And here I am putting some paste over the hole. So whilst that dries, let's look at assembling the head. In this clip I'm just putting all of the pieces down that I bought for the kit, just getting ready to assemble. I need to do something called lapping the valves, where basically you put polishing compound on the inside of this valve, put it into its little slot, and then spin it around so that way you get a really nice seal inside here. So what I didn't show in these clips is how difficult it was to actually get these valves to spin. I think something to do with the polishing compound and the very cheap tool that I'm using here. It took a lot of tries to get this going, but eventually I could get a good, smooth finish. And it also made that really satisfying sound. So now comes the more difficult part. I need to basically insert a spring using a spring compression tool to then have a proper spring behind each valve. So each spring goes in, and then with the spring compressor I press down the spring with the little washer on top. This also took quite a few goes as the spring basically wasn't getting pushed down enough, and as you can see it was very hard to use. And I got it wrong quite a few times. Goodness me. And it's very scary. This is by far the sketchiest and scariest thing I've ever had to do on a car. I hope to never have to do this again on this engine. I've got 3 in though, one more to go. So in goes the spring with the washer on top, spring compression tool, push it down with who knows how much force, and then you can already see there on the spring next to it, there's these little washers that kind of sit in there. Unfortunately I didn't show myself putting in those washers because they're quite satisfying actually, but they were not satisfying to get aligned properly. It took a lot of goes and a lot of work, so that's why I ended up kind of just speeding it up a bit for you guys. And then here I'm just loosening that spring so that way they go in before I release it. I've just finished assembling the head, which was a pain in the ass, but it's done and hopefully should be pretty good to go. So I'm going to now put it onto the block and basically do everything that I did in the last episode. So I'll make that happen nice and quick for you guys. Ta-da! Here goes the black paint onto the intake plenum. So I just opened the new oil pump for this motor, and it turns out that they've sent me the wrong oil pump. It looks like the actual box is correct and the part number is correct, but whatever is inside of it is for an earlier model car, which is really frustrating. So it means that we're just going to have that on hold for now, and then I'm going to, I guess, just look at doing everything else. So I think maybe 6 cans of degreaser have been used so far already. There's a lot of oil left over in this project, and a lot of caked on old oil, hence the screwdriver. And this is my old head. This is the one with the crack in it. I just wanted to clean it up so that way I could hold on to it as an ornament of some sort. It'd taken me quite far with that head. I got up to Townsville with that a couple of years ago, so I was happy to kind of keep it. On goes the clutch and all of the bolts getting torqued, quite satisfying. So you've just seen me install the clutch, and now it's time for me to put on the J-tubes. So they're the exhaust pipes that wrap from the front of the motor all the way to the back and connect with the exhaust muffler. And then I'm going to put on the intake plenum, as well as some of the cooling fins that go around the rest of the block here. On goes the tinware. Wow. And that concludes another successful day working on the bug. So thanks so much for watching. Really proud of what I managed to do today with the time that I had. And there's still a little bit more work to go, but yeah, just gonna have to do that another day, I guess. So yeah, stay tuned.